In the past we have seen many different products from Powkiddy and some other brands, and the thing is, I am really curious about what are we going to get. So when it comes to the looks of this device, I'm just going to be honest, this thing looks pretty damn cool. It's getting some real nostalgia retro vibe because this thing looks like a Super NES controller. Man, and I can tell you the first thing I'm noticing when holding it, wow, this thing is quite comfortable. Super Nintendo controller. I can already tell you the D-pad itself, ooh, it does have like a very cheap click to it, so I don't know if this is going to be playing very nicely. It does have a very nice curve to it, it gives it more ergonomic. They did make a decision to add a joystick to it, and I must say the position is not super bad. But the first thing I've noticed that there comes quite a nice volume out of the device itself. The interface is super basic when it comes to certain part, but what I do like about this thing, we're just grabbing it out of the box, it's just plug and play and certain way that you can just, like, everybody can use this. But when you're into the gameplay itself, you just want to go back to the main menu, you can press both select and start, and they will give you this basic menu where you just have resume, quit, and making quick load and quick save. And I think it is very convenient, and this way you can just go back to the main menu. So the way the navigation goes, it's super easy. Let's lower the volume a little bit. Next thing that we're going to do is, let's say, getting into the big list. So far I understand there is no way of changing the thumbnails. It's kind of weird thing they're always doing with these systems, but everything looks so much better and smoother. Let's say we're getting into the main, pressing the start over here. They are claiming using an IPS display in this, and I think there's something about this that they really don't lie about it, because it looks pretty damn good. So the unfortunate thing with this device is, and though I've seen many times before with low budget devices, that when it comes to emulation performance, we do have some problems. You can really hear that it is stuttering. Some movements are going to be very choppy. Also, the aspect ratio is not like it should be. But you can just hear this game is unplayable. And with the system, we can go back to the menu. But beside that, there is nothing else we can do about it. So when it comes to GBA, But let's try the AVO function. That's something I really want to try out. My display cannot not really recognize the signal that's coming out of the device. So let's check it out and set it to PAL. Let's see if this actually works. Yep, and you can see the flickering over now. So it does indeed basically switches to PAL and the other systems. Okay. So in this case we can go all full retro mode. You need to be careful if you're going to bounce the cable or just touch it. It's going to be like having some interference sometimes. The next thing I wanted to check out, so can we actually like play on CFT, and how is the freaking D-pad working for fighting games? The touch is absolutely horrible, already mentioned a couple of times in this video. Yeah, so I was afraid of this. The D-pad is absolutely garbage. It has such a bad input, so we just need to use the freaking analog stick. But all the other parts of the controller, or is it the handheld and the control, is absolutely amazing. Oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Oh man, oh man. Oh, I'm getting my ass whooped here. There we go. Wow. Oh yeah. Oh man, you do hear a lot of interference. Oh, oh. Getting into main, we do have some loading times going on. Of course, time for some beefcake and dinosaurs. Let's check out the audio quality of this is. For a cheap device like this, surprisingly, does have amazing audio. Okay, you see there were no sound effects. Alright, let's move to the joystick. But also here, like with the Mega Drive, the overall performance. But when it comes to the audio, it's not going to be perfect there. Next up, let's try some Super Famicom with Bob. But already from the start I can hear some minor problems. No sound effects are here so far. Normally I'm always like a big fan of the D-pad, but I'm just gonna be honest, the cheap clicky feeling, it's not for me. I do personally prefer the joystick when it comes to playing these games. To also mention in the beginning, the position is very comfortable. So when it comes to the overall gameplay, if you just want to play some adventure games with a joystick, and I don't see that often, I'm very satisfied with this. One of the big improvements when it comes to the TV out, when you're going to plug in the cable, it will automatically transmit the signal of the display to your television. I'm pulling it out, it basically goes where you just left your game system. So when it comes to that feature, they did an amazing job. The only thing I'm missing out is HDMI, but for the money, I think we cannot really complain about that. Let's get into the classic games. Now I will, when I need to press the D-pad a lot, I do notice that it is not perfect and I do really hate it. And didn't even start with the freaking fighting games. Oh man. But let's get into the Famicom part. What I do like about the controls that have been configured. So we're having the normal buttons and also an implemented of the turbo button, so that's kind of cool. So far I can see the overall performance of NES is just great. The volume is a little bit lower when comparing this with different emulators, but it's not bad at all. Oh yeah. But let's move on to the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. But here you can see that the emulation performance is as it should be. Did hear a little bit weird thing going on with audio. But so far so good. Ooh, did hear some minor hiccup over there. Here we do have like some audio issues when you're grabbing the rings, and I think that is maybe the problem with only having one speaker. There is something going on over here. Another great test what we can do is going into the three-dimensional part. But that seems to be working just fine. Some emulators, if they don't have the right one set up, it will look absolutely messed up. So when it comes to that, it's not perfect, but it is in my opinion playable. It will bring you in the big menu. From this point on you can go back pressing select. So navigation through the system is super easy. So this is basically the TV out option where you can set to a certain region. We're going to test it out later. Language, search and the game list. So when you're going to add new games from this point you can just basically add new games. We also have this, let's say the search function, and the search function is super convenient. Let's say I'm searching for Sonic, then go to OK, and here we can find every single file that has Sonic in its name. So that's a super convenient and a super easy way to find your games. But of course there was always something that you mess up, and I don't want to be negative, but the thing is that it comes with a pretty damn bad D-pad. Makes fighting games unplayable, it feels dirty cheap. What makes up that we do have like a very nice looking and very nice playable like joystick, but for me as a D-pad guy I am disappointed in this. The menu, I'm hoping we can get yourself like an upgrade in the future, because if you're going to improve these two things it will be a great deal for the money. Thank you for watching, let me know in the comments what you think of this, and it would be great to see you in the next video.